Thank you so much, guys, for listening to my language learning podcast. I'm not a super learner who speaks 8 different languages fluently. I'm not a polyglot, neither. I'm just a language learner like you. My name is Daniel D. Goodson, and that's actually an alias which is connected to me in some ways. Well, this is meant to be a long term project which shall help you and me to push our language skills to the next level. Together we are stronger, together we can push ourselves to the limits. In the following episodes, I'm gonna share all my experiences I had in the last years relating to learning a language. I'm trying to make a step further out of my comfort zone and see what happens. Even in my mother tongue, I'm rather the introvert type and I don't like speaking in public at all. In this episode, I will speak about my favorite language methods, my favorite apps and websites. I will talk about language gurus and polyglots too. While I don't think I'm a guru, but I have a lot of experience because that's a really big hobby of me. And also, I will set up a blog. And it would be great if you could come along with me. I really would appreciate that. I don't reveal yet which my mother tongue is, but maybe you can have a guess and write me a message. I consider myself as an intermediate English learner who has his difficulties to boost his English skills to the next level. I had about 3 years of English back in school, and after that, I learned rather in a passive way on my own without really speaking the language or writing something down. And that's exactly what I'm about to change with this podcast. I'm also learning French, Italian, and Spanish. But my very first goal is English. I want to share all my experience and talk about language learning methods and learning tools. I try to find good, motivated tandem partners, but unfortunately wasn't lucky so far to really stick together with these guys. I hope for new acquaintances and ideas. Also, I want you to be part of this, hopefully, in this bi-weekly podcast by sending me a feedback. Maybe you can send me a voice message, which I then would embed in this podcast. This shouldn't be a monologue at all. It's all about getting speaking practice, you know. The more episodes I produce, the better I will become. Well, that's what I hope at least. And like I said before, I rather learn in a passive way and I don't really use the language by my own. I only consumed a lot of audio content and watched a lot of series such as Daredevil, Fargo, Arrow, and others. When I then went abroad with some of my colleagues, I didn't feel comfortable speaking. I was kind of embarrassed and thought all the others would speak better than me English. So I kind of tried to avoid speaking. That's a shame and that's a pity. Maybe this happened to you as well at some point in your lives. Please give me your opinion about that. This very first episode shall be also a homage to all those fantastic podcast creators out there which influenced me so much and which contributed that I finally, after about 2 years of self-doubt, of fear and procrastination, I started out to set up my own podcast. Holy shit. Okay, there is, for instance, Luke's English podcast, of course. If you are into English podcast learning, you already may have listened to this podcast. Of course you have. And then there is Magnetic Memory Method with Dr. Anthony Metivier, the creator of the acclaimed Magnetic Memory Method. And there is, for example, Chatcast with Guillaume from Switzerland. And then there is Chris Broholm from Denmark, which talks about his language learning journey. Have a look also at my show notes on my website, myfluentpodcast.com and for other links. Thank you so much, guys.